Oh, now we're
There we
recording.
go. Good morning, Amy Lassen. Happy New Year.
Hello, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. So I am Charlie Bengal, the CEO of Remax Allegiance in the Washington metropolitan area and Hampton Roads. My co-host today is Amy Lassen, an associate broker with Remax in Colorado Springs. So again, Happy New Year. It's been a while since we've talked. I know we really want to jump into 2020. So how do you want to start?
Well, it's funny. I want to dive into the deep end of the pool. You and I were talking before we went live about, goals and do this and focus on that. And I said, what about just like, ugh, easier said than done, right? We're supposed to feel like we have a fresh start. We're supposed to feel like we have a clean slate. And what if we're all just kind of dragging our butts right about now? So
Yeah,
I know
what?
it would be cool to see a raise of hands.
It's funny. I've spoken to so many people in the last week since I got back from vacation. Everyone's like, "Can we not have the holidays on a Wednesday?"
Yeah.
Because it screws everything up.
Yeah.
And no, I agree. I think that, and also holidays being in the winter, there's so many parts of the country that are kind of gloomy.
Mhm.
DC's first snow is supposed to be this afternoon. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but everybody's rushing to the grocery store to buy the toilet paper, and milk. But how to get motivated in the middle of winter, right?
Right.
And yeah, there's some people that is like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Holidays are over. Thank goodness, let's
Right.
go. But then there's others that are like, it's hard to. It's like starting the lawnmower up for the first time in April, and it's been a while, and you just can't get the damn thing cranked.
Yeah.
It just takes that little bit of extra effort. And you and I were talking about really a powerful morning routine.
Yeah.
Is we were talking about it, but we didn't say that. You mentioned the
Yeah.
miracle morning, right?
Yes.
But having a powerful morning routine that, I love the Miracle Morning. Those of you that have not read it, Hal Elrod is the author, and I would just get the Miracle Morning. You don't need to get the Miracle Morning for realtors,
No.
just a regular Miracle Morning, start
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And, his whole thing is spending 10 minutes on these 6 parts of your life to get you where you need to be physically and mentally for the day.
Mhm.
And we also talked about, like, Darren Hardy he sends out a video message every day called the Darren Daily. You can subscribe to that. It's free. And I fessed up and said I should be watching these things, the Darren Dailies, and I don't. I typically start my day earlier with work, and I
Mhm.
really should start it even a little bit earlier, right, with
Right.
incorporating him into the Miracle Morning, or, whatever I'm doing or whatever you're doing. So I think that's just so, I think it's so important to get your mind right before you start your work day.
Yeah.
And I do think that if you've got your goals set for 2020, hopefully we have some goals for 2020, even if it's just, I want to make this much and I don't know where it's going to come from, right? The goal
Sure.
is some,
Sure.
some sort of a goal.
Yeah.
And we've taught some business planning classes in Allegiance. I've got another one, my first one coming up. I need to plug it. My first one coming up via Zoom. We will be doing the 2-hour business planning class via Zoom this Friday at 1:30. So those that want to attend can check out allegianceevents.com and get signed up for that. But
Great.
your thoughts, since I've hijacked our first few minutes here, your thoughts, maybe on just the motivation piece, kind of starting there, since we started discussing that right before we went
Yeah.
live this morning.
Well, I'll just be really authentic and say I have had my own inertia, and I've done a ton of planning, and motivating other people is my job. And I have finished my business plan, excuse me, and I have still had that, oh, can I get up? What are my shoulds again? I should read, I should work out, I should drink water before coffee. Oh yeah. And then you just don't care in the moment. It's like, forget it.
Right.
So the struggle is real, and I so get it. But I want to share with our audience what I was sharing with you briefly before is my experience at my most recent Tony Robbins event. And I will tell you, one of my simplest and biggest takeaways from Tony Robbins is that we control how we feel. And he said, you control your state way more than you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove that to all his attendees, he keeps you awake longer than you thought you could stay awake. He keeps you on your feet longer than you thought you could stand. And, 15 hours a day, 6 straight days of jumping up and down. I'm 53 years old. My shoulders aren't that strong. And yet, boom, boom,
Right.
boom, 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 I was definitely buying in. And it's amazing how after a couple of days of just doing it, you realize you can, you know?
Yes.
And if it were in any sort of other class or your day-to-day life, and you ask yourself, would you like to lay around or would you like to go to the gym? I'm tired. I deserve to sit here. I've been sick all week,
Yeah.
right? And then you talk yourself into believing that that's what you deserve or that that's what's
Mm-hmm.
best. And they don't give you that option. Get up, get up, get up, drink your
Right.
water, stand up, drink your water, stand up. And I was sitting next to a lady. She said, "Do you want me to go get you some coffee?" I'm like, "What good would it do us? We're not going to get any sleep. We're just going to have to rally," right? And they actually assigned us teams of people to make us hydrate. They would carry around jugs of water. So drinking lots of water, jumping up and down till 3 o'clock in the morning. And you discover after all these days, oh yeah, this does work. I can do it. I
Mm-hmm.
do have more in me. I can get enthusiastic. I can keep a positive mindset. I can change the way I feel.
Yeah.
So I want to say to all of those of you who are struggling like me with, wait, how do I accomplish my goals and how do I get going? And I think we also overcommit. Like, all I have to do is read the Miracle Morning and get up an hour earlier and be nicer to my kids and give up alcohol for a month. And
Mm-hmm.
like, all I have to do is these 400,000 things and double my production. Go.
Right.
No pressure. Right. So I want to encourage everyone that you could do something super simple to change your state. Everything becomes way more possible when you have a can-do mindset about your own state. So whether it's just listen to your favorite song in the morning and, jiggle, hydrate and jiggle, right, you're going to be shocked. You're like, oh yeah, I do feel like doing my stuff, rather than just try to force yourself to do it when you don't want to.
Right. Yeah, I think we were at some event and Tom Ferry he said, if you stand up and like raise your arms up, it's impossible to frown at the same time. Right.
Oh!
This is something like that. But no, I agree, and just doing one thing. It doesn't have to be, okay, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up at 5 and I'm going to start doing the savers from the Miracle Morning. We're starting tomorrow, right? Incremental progress, not perfection, I think is a lot easier for people, because if you try to go from A to Z in a day, it's easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
And to throw out another book, the compound effect.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, we would just follow Darren Hardy again, the compound effect. And the idea is if you make just these tiny changes every day, by the end of a year or 2 years, these are gigantic changes that you made, right?
Sure.
So, it's the old adage of, if a plane is going from LA to New York and they're off just 1 degree, right? For, I forget, the analogy here, but you don't have to be off by much per mile to be way off by the time you get there. So just incremental changes in your life, I think, and it can be as simple as, watching a video or listening to your favorite song or hydrating more, or, go into the gym get on the Peloton for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be the whole 30-minute workout.
Right. Have we all heard that? Commit to going to the gym. You don't even have to commit to working out.
Yeah.
Right.
Incremental change.
Get up and go every day.
Yeah. So we weren't really going to speak about motivation, but I do think that it's interesting that I've had this feeling this week when talking to agents that, the lawnmower, trying to get that lawnmower going, right? And some of them are really struggling a bit. And it's like, okay, the kids are back in school.
Yeah.
Let's think back to the plan that we did implement and in December, dust off the cobwebs, if you will, because, some people took a good 2 weeks off, and that's okay. It's just time to get back in the routine, and we don't want to take 2 weeks to get there.
Yeah, I so agree.
Good. Okay, so we're talking, today was going to be kind of new year, new you, new way of thinking.
Yeah.
You wanted to discuss a little bit about burning the one thing you cannot do anymore. Tell me more about that.
Well, maybe this only exists in like rom-coms, romantic comedies, where like this group of women get around and like burn the photos of their ex-boyfriends or something. But I was thinking about that. Let's think about that one thing that you allowed to drag you down last year. That one time suck, that one pointless activity, right? That thing that you just sort of, like chasing your tail like a dog. What was that one thing? And maybe it's challenging for everyone to think about. But if you could identify it and just burn it and don't go back, right? Just quit doing that one thing. I listened to an online course on time management where the trainer said, can you find 5 hours in your schedule every week that you spend on pointless emails? How many people can you find it, right? So, okay, put a check mark. Okay, can you find 5 hours in your week that you're spending on Netflix? Okay, put a check mark.
Sure.
And you just went through the list, like
Yeah.
how many of you can find, how many of you can find. And it's kind of scary to think maybe you've got 25 slush hours.
Yes.
You're like, I thought I had no time.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Now, for those of you who are listening, and I did this with my group mastermind yesterday, and the one guy has 4 tiny little children. He's running a really big business. He's doing a lot of things. And he said, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. So he's pretty tight already. He was pretty lean. But most of the rest of us can admit that we're letting our time slip away. Surfing the internet, right?
Yep.
Clicking on random things. Even if we claim, oh, social media is a huge part of my business. Are you watching cat videos? Are you?
I deleted Facebook from my phone last week.
Tell us about that.
Well, I just felt like I was there too often, and I was trying to only go there when I was stuck doing something else. You're waiting in line, okay, go on Facebook. But then I was realizing that, I was there more than I should be. And when you go there subconsciously, it becomes a problem. And, one way you can prevent that is moving where the app is on your phone. Because your brain will do, swipe, click, and you're like, it's not there anymore. Because these developers have got us drunk on this stuff.
A little bit.
So I deleted it, and I still have it on. I need it for work, right? It's how we do a lot of communication within the company. It's how we do a lot of communication within the Tom Ferry world, that. And so I still have it on my computer, and when I click on it, I'll have, 15 notifications. That's great. They all could wait.
Yeah.
And so you feel free, because typically on the weekends, I don't open up my computer. My phone is my computer on the weekend. So there was no Facebook all weekend until Monday morning when I went on Facebook, when I opened up my laptop. So, or Sunday night when I was preparing for Monday. And it was fine.
Yeah.
As one of our colleagues, Davidson Lunger, likes to say, we're not 911 operators. Wait, there's nothing there, right? And I think your point to the email is the idea that every time you stop and you check, every time you ding or ring or buzz, those emails can wait. Check it once in the morning. And you know what? 90% of it you're just scanning and deleting anyway.
Yeah.
The New Year's sale at Pottery Barn, you can read about that at 2:00. It doesn't have to be this minute. And every time we get distracted and try to come back on task, it's such a time suck when we could just put all that stuff over here. I'm not saying don't read email. You're not saying don't read email. I'm not saying don't use Facebook. It doesn't have to be every 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope, but maybe this is just one more to do, but that if we could all acknowledge that we have those time hemorrhages, right? Those things that really don't have value, and then they just slip away. I'm guilty of that, going on Facebook for a specific reason and getting sucked into everything.
Yes.
Right. So for those of us who have that issue, we probably need to set a timer, right? If I'm in my email, it needs to be with a purpose. If I am just going to get caught, deleting old, whatever it is, Amazon notifications, I don't know.
Right.
Do I have time for that right now?
Right.
So that would be the suggestion, is there something that you have allowed to steal your time last year that you could just cut it off, right? And just say, that's not a thing anymore.
Right.
I'm just not going to do that.
Probably social media.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it is an enormous time suck. And I've got friends telling me I need to be on Instagram, and it's like, I'm not doing it. It's another suck me in, right?
Well, okay, I love it that you say that. You have friends saying you should do X.
Yeah.
And being coaches, you and I have our clients come to us all the time. Shouldn't I be doing? And there's this whole list. And I said, guys, there are 400,000 things that are working really well for somebody.
Right.
And you don't have to do them all. And if you don't cherry pick, you're going to be really ineffective. Right. So I think that would be my other message for New Year, New You, is clarity and commitment to less. Like, just do a certain few things and do them well.
Right.
I had this aha. I taught a class yesterday to the new agents at Remax Properties. And I said, how many of you realized when you got your license that real estate would be this hard? Nobody raised their hand. I said, right. I said, honestly, I can tell you, I've never met somebody who said, I thought real estate was going to be challenging and it's been a cakewalk.
Yep.
That has never happened. The opposite in the extreme is true. I had no idea. This is overwhelming. Right. So I said, I think given that was your mindset when you came in, none of you have had a lot of staying power around any of the things that you've taken on, right? You tried such and such for half a minute. And I always compare it to like lifting dumbbells, you know. I
Right,
said, you pick it
right.
up and you're like, oh my goodness, it's heavy, you know. I said, of course it's heavy. I said, have you ever seen somebody in the gym pick up a weight and like throw it down in disgust and storm out because they didn't know the weights were heavy? And they always laugh. I'm like, no, of course we knew weights were heavy.
Right.
No one told you that the craft of real estate requires incredible intention and focus, and there's a learning curve. So I said, your belief that it was supposed to be easy has made you be a try it for a minute, try it for a minute, try a new one, try a new one. Oh, shouldn't I also be doing such and such? You know, that squirrely. So my new thing is recognize that it's going to be extremely challenging and stick with it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you're alluding to is lead sources and the shiny penny syndrome. And it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, let's do 3 lead sources at a level 10 instead of 10 lead sources at a level 3.
Oh, I love that.
You know, and people really struggle with that because they see, oh, my friend is having success with Zillow, right? You know, my friend is doing great with FSBOs and this and that. And it's like, well, when's the last time you called your clients? What? You know, you know, the phone is still light, folks. You and I joked about that the last show we had.
Yeah.
The phone is still light because you can still call and wish somebody a happy new year. Happy New Year. How are the holidays? Catch up with them, right? And then if you want to make it about real estate at the tail end, make it about real estate. If you don't, pick up the phone anyway, right? When it's mid-February, the phone is going to get heavier. Right now, it's still light, right? So there's no reason why there's people that, and I don't mean to pontificate, but every time I ask somebody, does everybody that you know who does not have a real estate license heard from you in the last 90 days? Not one person has ever said yes to me. Not one.
No, and worse, they'll say, my past clients.
Right, right.
Your past clients are the only people you know? Like the fact that we have to keep redefining defining sphere of influence. I think we should right now, right on this call. It's incredible how much you and I repeat ourselves, but I don't know that it doesn't bear repeating, right? Who are the people in your sphere of influence? It's all the people you know who know you, period.
Right.
Right? And they're in your database.
I think you've said before, anybody that if they bought or sold a house and it wasn't with you, you'd be pissed.
Or even disappointed.
Right.
So people say to me all the time, yeah, but my past clients are different. How are they different? How are they different?
Right. So I mean, this call is like a shotgun call. We kind of call it.
It is.
But, you know,
Happy New Year.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, the phone is still light. Call them, wish them a happy New Year. How are the holidays? Right. They're going to want to talk. And that's fantastic. Right. And then you find out that so-and-so's pregnant. The townhouse isn't going to work and it's time to move up, you know, in the fall. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, that it will happen. So we've talked about mindset and morning routine. We've talked about what's one thing that we can get rid of, stop doing, et cetera, et cetera. And there's probably a list that's this long, but start with one.
Yeah.
And now we've talked about the phone's light. Call your people.
Yeah.
Right. We've got lots of time left. What's next on your agenda?
Well, I would love to leave everybody with really actionable things. And I want to remind everyone that this is a buffet, right? Don't be overwhelmed and don't eat it all, right? So you recommended Darren Daily as a subscription, right? And by the way, those who have not experienced it, it's usually less than 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
You don't even have to watch. You can listen to it on your phone. He's a talking head. It's not, there's not graphics or anything.
Right.
So that's a really good one and an easy daily motivational vitamin to take. I have some books that I just can't say enough good about. Essentialism is still one of my favorite books from last year. I listened to Essentialism and then actually I bought it because I wanted to go back through it. I have not gone back through it since I bought it, but I did listen to it.
Yeah.
It's an incredible listen. Essentialism, he talks about focusing on the essentials, and he shares some pretty personal stories about walking away from some pretty incredible opportunities for things he wanted more. And I think those of us who have a lot of first world problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes you just don't know what decisions to make.
Right.
And so I highly recommend the book Essentialism. Um, the simple tip of changing your state, I just really want you guys all to get that when you're looking at the 400,000 things you've committed to do, or that someone else is doing, or that some trainer said you should do. Oh, I should read Miracle Morning. I should follow the complete routine every day. Just don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Have a glass of water and jump up and down. You know what I mean? Like, start there, get the blood flow into your brain. If you're feeling stuck, it's not your imagination. When your energy is low, it is tough to take action on the things that you committed to in a more enthusiastic moment, right?
Yes.
Zig Ziglar said, motivation is like a shower. You need it every day.
Right. Right.
And maybe some people don't shower every day, so maybe we'll say like brushing teeth,
Yeah.
You can't just get motivated once and say, how come it leaked out, So
Right.
give yourself the gift of that.
I'll do another plug. So we do a Monday morning motivation call on Zoom with whoever wants to, to join. And that's at 9:10 Eastern every Monday with me. And it's basically getting your head into the right space. What are you committed to this week? How many conversations do you want to have? And what's one other project that you want to work on? How are you feeling? Sharing that with the group. And then we run on to the next person. We are on and off in 10, 15 minutes. I play a motivational video or I have a motivational quote and we're done. But it's fairly early Monday, right? So it gets you in the right space for the week. And I think it's a great thing. But the Darren Daily stuff, it comes really early in the morning, by the way, so you can wake up with them every day. So there's so many opportunities. It can almost be overwhelming of what to watch or what to listen to. But the stuff that you and I talked about are all really good. And watching some of that stuff before you go on a listing appointment, right? Turning on your favorite song on the way to the listing appointment, right? It could be before a big meeting as well, not just or before a big date. It's the new year, lots of people in the gym, lots of people on OkCupid, right? So, motivation just doesn't have to be in the morning. It can be, any time before you have a big event where you need to get your head right. Right? And we all fall into the trap of not being right. And I don't think there's any guilt in admitting that if that's you right now in this time of year, the weather's crappy, the holidays are over, the doldrums, I think admitting that is really winning, right? Okay, I know I have an issue. I have a goal. I'm not moving towards that goal just yet. And when we've been doing the business planning, luckily enough, we're saying that you're prospecting 44, 46 weeks a year. So you know what? It's the 7th. If you've been in the doldrums for the last week, you're good. You got time to make up for it because we didn't say you're going to prospect 52 weeks out of the year. Congratulations. We're good. Right? So give yourself some grace. But admitting that maybe there's an issue there and either joining my call or the Darren Dailies or, the other things that you said, I think are important. Admitting that you have a problem is the first step.
That's right.
Yeah, and then doing something about it.
Well, and I think the thing that I got out of the Tony Robbins hydrate and jump up and down was that I think we've been taught mind over matter, and that's not what that is. Like convincing yourself that you're not tired when you are isn't going to work. Right. Convincing yourself that you're motivated to make your calls when you aren't, super challenging, right? Yeah. So the thing about hydrate and stand up is you actually change the way you think and feel, and it makes it so much more possible to take positive action. Right. So I want to encourage you, if you're feeling that way, like right this second, I'm feeling a little bit that way myself. It's early. I'm sitting in a chair. I mean, it's very early where I am. I've been up quite a while. I already had a coaching call before this. Right. So I can feel it. And what I need is a glass of water and to stand up. And I can feel it. But the old me would say, gosh, my coffee's not working. Maybe I need more. Right. Right. And that will just dehydrate. It's going to sound like I'm beating this, but until you guys try it, you just won't understand. So next time you're feeling kind of wilted, imagine that you're a flower, right? Have some water, stand up, stretch. You don't even have to jump. Like, jumping may not be your thing, although that's really good for your endocrine system, which is a whole nother thing. But just, hydrate and stretch. And I don't mean elaborate stretching. Just hold your arms over your head, Right. And you will feel your blood flow back to your brain, and suddenly you're capable of all the things that you thought you were when you were in a more enthusiastic moment. So I would encourage that. And then to your point about listening to wonderful things in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
how many people have a habit of turning on the news in the morning?
Oh God, I know.
Okay. And this is not a commentary on negativity.
Right.
I'm just telling you, I had such a zombie-like habit of flipping on NPR to
Okay.
just have noise in the background.
Yeah.
And what I discovered was that was really, at its best, it was noise in the background.
Right.
At its
Right.
worst, it was a bunch of negative stuff.
Yep.
So I was doing it. I was on autopilot. I had
Yep.
my noise in the background, and I swapped it out for this talk. And I have podcasts that I follow,
Mm-hmm.
and I have books that I want to listen to, and I just made the conscious effort to swap it out. Whoa, like I got
Oh yeah.
fired up for the class that I was teaching that morning. So I just want to say, whether it's I deserve Netflix, I deserve to watch some reruns of whatever on Netflix, swap it out for something else.
Right.
It won't be a burden. It will be its own treat, really.
Oh, I agree. And I have a client that used to turn on CNN every morning.
Mm.
And it's like, there's so much negativity in the news right now. And I don't think it's good for, it's not good for anybody. And it seems to be getting more and more negative, so goals, gratitudes, feeding your mind with something good. And there's a lot of good out there.
Yeah.
But they say in the news business, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
Right. So turning on the news or going to, any of the news sites, it's typically not going to be great news that leads. It's very strange, but that's not what drives subscribers and viewers. So it is what it is. So we need to find our own stuff.
I had a friend message me that he was watching the news, and I said, I wonder why they call it that. I said, it's never new.
Right.
So I want to also suggest that the things that we're doing right now, it's kind of Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Groundhog Day, by the way. So in honor of February 2nd, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Groundhog Day, but this concept that you're just stuck in a loop. You're repeating the same negative behaviors and you're attracting the same negative experiences, and that you wake up every day and it's the same day and you repeat it, right? So to me, listening to the news, not only was it negative, and it was also kind of repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost just swap out the year and the name of the country and it was real familiar,
Right.
So I just want to say, if maybe you could change it up so that break the pattern of Groundhog Day and wake up on a new day, like he finally does by changing his own behavior.
Right.
He starts attracting new experiences by changing what he's putting out.
Yes, I like it. Any parting thoughts? That was a pretty good parting thought, I think, actually.
Well, but I think, change your attitude, make your life better. It sounds like a lecture, so I really do want to emphasize, try it. Try hydrating and stretching, get the blood flow into your brain. If you feel like your brain is not working at maximum and you're having a hard time staying focused and motivated, it's not your imagination. Give yourself the ability to focus and do all the things you're capable of in 2020. And come to us, ask us for help. We're here.
Yes, and we would love viewers' ideas for coaching shows. So if anybody has that, shoot us an email. charlesbengal@remax.net is the easy way to get a hold of us. And I think we'll leave it there.
We could do some forecasting, because I have some things I am super committed to developing and teaching in 2020. Mm-hmm. So yes, suggestions that you have, but we have some huge big rocks around hiring and training, about buyer process, listing process. We could all be quantifying our businesses and being much more strategic, and I am looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Good. Going to be good 2020. Always good to see you. Again, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to our viewers and listeners, and we'll see you next time.
Wonderful. Bye.
Thanks. Take care.